this far away from home and for this long, and it really teaches you responsibility.
I've made a lot of new friends.
I'm having the time of my life. I'm learning a lot. It's an incredible experience.
I think it's probably the best experience I've had in my life.
I love that the students get the opportunity to visit other countries, see other cultures, and experience a life that's different than their own.
Good afternoon and welcome everybody. My name is Gary Stewart. I am the head of admissions for the great state of Florida with People-to-People Student Ambassador programs. We have a very exciting adventure that we have planned just for you, traveling to one of the most beautiful places in the world, Western Canada. As soon as we arrive in the airport, you're definitely going to know that you're not in Florida anymore, because we're going to be surrounded by these massive mountains. How many of you like animals, by show of hands? Animals. We're going to be learning about some of the very unique wildlife in Canada. We're going to be going to a wolf sanctuary. And while we're there, as the sun begins to set, we're going to hear the wolves start to howl. And then we're going to howl back to them. Can you howl with me? Oh! And then we're going to hear the wolves howl back to us. We're going to be learning the language of the wolf. Mom and Dad, we're going to be learning how this creature plays a very intricate role into the ecosystem there. We're going to be having an exploration as we are watching wild whales migrate throughout the area, working with a marine biologist. We'll also be traveling to a very unique area where some of these locals are very excited for our arrival. When we start to think about Canada, we're thinking about our nation's settlers. We'll be spending some time at the Blackfoot Teepee Camp and really spending some time with them and learning about some of their ancient traditions, their ways of life. We'll learn about some of their traditional dances, and then as a student ambassador, we have a very unique experience for you. We'll have you put up your own teepee, and you guys get to sleep in a teepee for a night. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Native American history, but as a tourist, you would never be invited to do that. That is a very sacred experience. But again, being a student ambassador is going to allow you to do things that you couldn't do as a tourist. We'll make our way east. We're going to be heading to Banff. And when we get to Banff, we are going to get on a monster bus. Tires are about this tall, and we're going to make our way out onto a natural glacier that was formed millions of years ago, and it's covered in snow. It's a great place to fill up your water bottle, and guys, we are going to have a snowball fight. All right? But we're going to be working there with professionals, learning about the formation of glaciers and how glaciers supply most of our nation's fresh drinking water. So we have a lot of very unique opportunities for you. During our time together, we have a lot of information to cover, and I know right now, parents, you probably have two questions. The first question being, wow, can I go too? The second question is, this does sound phenomenal. Is this safe for my child to travel without me? Over the last 50 years, we have traveled more than 500,000 individuals around the globe, and this has allowed us to become experts in what we do. So during our time together, I will outline some of the very rigorous safety protocol that we have developed over this period of history so that you feel a lot more confident and comfortable with this experience for your child. I'll introduce you to our very most significant individuals with us here today. These are your teacher leaders. These are educators from the area that we have handpicked and trained to lead this delegation of students to Canada this coming summer. And they will be the individuals working with your families over the next 8 months preparing for this journey. And then we have some very special guests with us here today. These are students who have traveled in our program. They are People-to-People alumni, and they're here to share with you, being a member of your community, what it was really like to travel with people to people. And then finally, we'll wrap up with a very simple application process. I like to call this your boarding pass. I'll provide you the very simple steps that your family will want to proceed with to become involved in this local delegation traveling out of Miami. Sound good? All right, fantastic. What I'd like to do right now is welcome our families who have actually reserved and they're watching this online. We've got approximately 65 families that could not be here at our meeting today, but I definitely wanted to extend an invitation to them as well. So welcome, everybody. Let's go ahead now and learn about the history of people to people. Let's hear from the big guy himself. This is President Eisenhower. On the day that he launched the People to People program with his mission to create peace around the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, the purpose of this meeting is the most worthwhile purpose there is in the world today: to help build the road to peace.
It all started with a president. Dwight D. Eisenhower was chosen as Supreme Allied Commander during World War II and served as President of the United States during the Cold War. The vision of a more peaceful world became the defining theme of his presidency.
But I am talking about the exchange of professors and students and executives, the providing of technical assistance and the ordinary traveler abroad. In this way, I believe, is the truest path to peace.
Eisenhower believed that people-to-people interactions were the solution to world peace and the success of all world citizens. The people-to-people movement was born out of this great vision and lives on today through people-to-people ambassador programs. Since the 1960s, more than 500,000 ambassadors have traveled on the educational adventure of a lifetime.
Students have to step outside their comfort zone. The team building activities they do, it equips the students with personal empowerment that they will take with them in whatever situation, work situation, school situation. It makes them in control of their life.
They're unique individuals who share a passion for getting out into the world and making it a better place. As an ambassador, you'll experience the world with eyes wide open, going to places the average student trip can't. You'll experience iconic destinations, explore new cultures and local customs, and gain an academic edge, all while having the time of your life.
Welcome people to Bristol, England.
We'd like to welcome our American friends here.
People to people, welcome to Greece.
Welcome to Paris. Hope you'll enjoy your stay.
Welcome to Japan, people to people.
Ambassadors have endless opportunities to see the world. Students gain confidence and maturity through months of pre-travel preparation and by taking part in unique activities on the program, like rappelling down a castle wall in Wales, living like a member of another culture in Fiji, and taking part in a robotics challenge at a top American university. You are heading into a world where your friends and coworkers will be from all around the globe. Building an awareness of the world is essential for success in our fast-moving global society.
So you have an obligation to be good citizens, an obligation to learn all you can, an obligation to get ready for the world that we're going to bequeath to you in the not-too-distant future.
I salute you as well for exercising your convictions not just at the keyboard, but in programs like People to People.
Today, success in getting into college and advancing in your chosen career requires new 21st century skills and the ability to think beyond our borders.
We're always looking for students who have pursued academic enrichment programs that take them outside of the classroom, outside of their community, and really introduce them to other academic outings.
Ambassador programs are designed to give you an academic edge. They're even led by educational professionals who make the most of each learning opportunity. These teacher leaders are also an important part of our industry-leading approach to safety. With GPS tracking, extensive training for leaders and students, and dedicated staff on call 24/7, we set a high standard for travel safety.
We are very, very serious about the safety of our children. It's the #1 foremost thing.
Rest assured you're in good hands with People to People. They've been traveling students for over 50 years. They know what they're doing.
Every continent, country, and city brings new adventures, friendships, and experiences that you'll take with you for the rest of your life.
To the young people who are here tonight, I ask you to go forward and always remember that we're citizens in the truest sense of the word, not just of this country, but of this precious planet.
Your people-to-people experience will not only make a difference in your life, but can actually change the world. Learn what it means to be a global citizen through unique and rewarding service projects. In 2014, ambassadors earned more than 120,000 service learning hours. Join students just like you and make an impact around the world.
We are at the east coast of Japan where the tsunami hit last year.
Seeing everyone work together, digging in the sand and get out debris or like logs, and knowing that like you touch these people's lives just as much as they touched yours. It's just an amazing feeling of accomplishment.
Over the next several months, you will see and learn more about the world than most people will in a lifetime. Each day of your ambassador experience will bring new adventures as you explore places you've only dreamed of.
We are at the top of Machu Picchu. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I still can't believe that I'm here.
The time is now, the choice is yours. As a people-to-people ambassador, your world will change forever. So the only question left is, are you ready?
There is no more important work than that which we are asking you to participate. Thank you very much for your time.
So now you know more about the history of People to People and how this program got started. Now, as you can imagine, back in the mid-1950s when President Eisenhower started this program, you had to be somebody very famous to travel as an ambassador to represent the United States overseas. So he got together some individuals who he felt could really demonstrate to the rest of the world what America was about. So for example, the famous jazz musician, Louis Armstrong, traveled with People to People. Joyce Hall, Hallmark Cards. Bob Hope, the comedian. My personal favorite, Walt Disney. Walt Disney did travel with People to People, and it was after he traveled abroad, not as a tourist just taking pictures of things, but instead as an ambassador, having arranged face-to-face visits with people from different nations, just as you will. He was able to have a homestay, to live with families abroad. The best way to learn about a culture is to truly live it. So he was getting to know their day-to-day habits, learning about their music, their sports, their hobbies. It was this experience with People to People that really opened up his mind to the world and the way that he saw it. He was so inspired by this that he returned home to the United States and created a pretty famous ride. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's a Small World After All. How many people have been driven crazy by the music on that ride? Yeah, me too. But again, I want you to realize the very proud tradition with People to People. This is an experience that will truly set your student apart from their peers. And now I'd like to go ahead and introduce you to your local leadership team. These are incredible individuals. They volunteer hundreds of hours each and every year to take classroom education and to extend it outside of four walls and really give our students a meaningful experience that will transform their life. I'd like to start by introducing your area director for South Florida. Please help me welcome Miss Megan Stockstad.
Thank you, Kieran. Thank you, Kieran. Hello, you guys can come on up. Hello, welcome. Thank you for coming here on this beautiful afternoon. My name is Megan Stockstad. I've been an educator for about 20 years. I teach high school, and I've been with People to People for 13. I would have been with them a lot longer if I knew about them before, but I didn't find out till 13 years ago. My job is to find these wonderful teachers. We only have about 30 in all of South Florida, so they are handpicked and chosen very carefully because they're amazing. Not only are they great teachers, but they are very fun, and they are very excellent leaders. So that's what we do with them. I also interface between the home office and them. They have to get training also to handle every situation that we might encounter, and they have to take quizzes. So students, they do have to take quizzes, just like you. And they are wonderful, so I'd like to introduce you to them. Oh, I did leave out one thing. I have a child, and when I hire them, when I find them, my child has to be able to travel with them because he's like the love of my life, the most important thing that I've ever had around me, and he has to be safe. So that's also in my mind when I choose them. So I'd like to introduce you to the elementary primary leader, Marissa.
Hello, my name is Marissa Muriel. I teach at the charter school at Waterstone, way down south in Homestead. This is my 10th year teaching. I've primarily taught 4th and 5th grade. Part of the People to People program is being able to let you guys know that your children will be taken care of and helping them through the process. So one of the things that we do is we hold monthly meetings with your children, all the children that are going to be traveling with me, because this is the trip I will be taking your children on. They'll be traveling with me, so every month we have a meeting so that they can get to know each other and so that you can get to know me and so that they can get to know me. And in these meetings we talk about things like preparing themselves, passports and packing, and about foreign currency and the exchange and stuff like that, things that you need to know when you're traveling outside of the United States.
Hi. I'm Joan Leroy. I've been teaching for 29 years. I'm a national board certified teacher, and I want to talk to you about safety response team. Safety is something that I know everyone is concerned about, so is People to People. First of all, they give us a phone that's on 24/7, and we have access to the headquarters 24/7. They're available for any kind of emergencies, any calls. If you want to speak to your child, they can contact us. You call the Spokane, they call us, and you'll be able to contact us with whatever concern you have. Safety is number one. We get trained every year in safety, and so I just want you to feel comfortable that your child will be in good hands, and People to People regards safety as our number one. Okay? Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michelle Bolt, and I've been teaching for 19 years. I'm also a National Board Certified Teacher. I teach in a public school in Miami. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Facebook. One of the things that your leader, your primary leader, will do is set up a closed Facebook account for both for you as the parents and your students to access. And the good thing about that is that you start communicating before you actually leave. So we'll encourage you to go onto that Facebook account, make comments, get to know each other outside of your orientation meetings. And then the good thing about it also is that when your leader is traveling, all the leaders that are traveling, we post throughout the entire journey so that you can go on Facebook at any time and see exactly what's going on. You'll see pictures of the kids doing different activities. We take pictures at mealtime. We take pictures, just random pictures, and post them. So anytime you feel any tinge of loneliness, you can go on to Facebook and see where your kids are and what they're doing. And I'd like to introduce you to Annie.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Good afternoon. My name is Annie Mirabal, and I teach at Coral Reef Senior High School. What I'd like to touch on is the value of what this world travel actually brings to your students, especially in this day and age of our global economy. It changes their attitudes. It has them interacting with different cultures. It opened doors for them that otherwise wouldn't be open to them, especially as they start their application process for college, that they see that they have traveled internationally. And again, as I said, you can't stress enough the importance of the global economy that we live in, and having your children interact with these different cultures can only serve to make them grow. Thank you.
I'd like for you to hear from some of our experts that we have with us here today. If you have traveled in a people-to-people program anytime from 1962, and the reason I ask that is because last weekend there was an older gentleman in the back of the audience who raised his hand and said, I traveled in 1971 with people-to-people. And being able to hear his experience of traveling to the Soviet Union at that time as an ambassador and having exclusive access inside the Kremlin was fascinating. So I want to make sure I'm not leaving anybody out, but if you have traveled any time with people-to-people from 1962 through this last summer, please raise your hand for me. And would you please stand for me? And I would imagine we have some proud parents or maybe even grandparents that are here with you today who supported you in making this possible. I would encourage them to stand beside you at this time as well. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the families that are truly representing South Miami to the rest of the world. I'd like to invite all of you, if you would join me for a quick moment at the front of the room. I know that our new families here today will certainly benefit hearing from some families that were sitting right where you are, maybe last year or the year before. I'm sure that parents, you had all kinds of questions and concerns. Obviously, as parents, we always question about the safety for our children. So I would encourage you to really speak with our parents about when you were sitting here and what you were thinking. What did you really come to find out about people-to-people and the organization? Also, I would encourage you to share with our families beyond safety. If I'm sitting out here today as a parent, I'm asking myself, why should I really consider making this investment in my child? What are they going to get out of this experience? I'd like to start by introducing our students. If you would proudly introduce yourself, starting with your name, the school you attend, where you traveled, and maybe one of your favorite parts of your travel experience with people-to-people. And then right after you speak, I'd like to be able to hear from your parent. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started right here.
Hi, my name is Chloe Jean Baptiste. I'm in the 10th grade. I attend International Studies Preparatory Academy. I guess I could say one of my favorite parts of my trip would probably be my homestay, which is where you get to stay with a family that's part of one of the countries. And my homestay was in Germany, and I traveled with the European Heritage Trip where we went to Austria, Switzerland, Germany, France, England, and the Netherlands. And since my homestay was in Germany, it was probably one of my favorite experiences. I learned so much more from the Germans, because when you watch television shows, you're gonna think, oh my gosh, these people are so mean. But actually, when I got there, they're one of the nicest people you could ever meet. And they're very humble people as well. And that really caught me off guard. And that's why I would love to go back to Germany if I could. And yeah, this is my mom.
Yep. Hi, Mom. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Colleen Jean Baptiste. My daughter, when she came back, it was that, when do I go back? When do I go back? Where do I go back? So right now we are registered for China. So we're looking forward to see the experience that she's gonna get. If it's the same thing, it's nerve-wracking when your kids are away, but you would have to have faith. Nothing wouldn't happen to her, then it wouldn't happen to one of their staff. So you have to trust God and let it be, because my experience with, I have an older one, I wouldn't let go, and she's still at home because of that. So, so I'm encouraging everyone, if you have the opportunity, and this is experience of a lifetime.
Hi, my name is Donatella, and I go to Carrollton School of the Sacred Heart. And I've gone to 2 trips, Tale of Two Cities and the Celtic Cultures. And it's the best thing you can give your children, to be honest. I've had so many amazing memories I will never forget. I still talk about it at least twice a day. I mean, I think my friends are sick of it, but I can't stop talking about it. And my favorite parts would have to be whitewater rafting in Scotland, and rappelling off a castle in Wales. Everybody was scared of rappelling off a castle, except me. I mean, I'm not scared of heights. So I was like encouraging everyone, and by the end they were like, wow, if I would have not been able to do that, I don't know what I would have done. Like, they were like, this is an experience I would never be able to do with my family. And we had so much fun. We were encouraging everyone. It was 7 in the morning. We were tired, but we were hungry, but it was worth it. And it was just, and the Facebook thing is true. I got so many notifications, I think my phone broke, but it's worth it. And yeah, come on.
Hi, how are you? Yeah, she traveled the first time the summer of going into 6th grade, so 7th grade? Okay. And I was probably, like you guys, wondering about the safety and everything. The teachers that go are amazing. You get to meet all the parents in all the meetings that we have before the trip. And I still talk to a lot of parents from her first trip, and we're already on our second trip. So I encourage it completely. This year, her legs were hurting because she dances. She had shin splints. The teacher was calling me, what could I give her? What could I do? And I mean, there's open communication throughout the whole entire trip. The stay-at-home trip was awesome. I was worried in the beginning because, I mean, they're staying with families we don't know, but that was one of her favorite, like her favorite. That was probably one of her favorite also, and she still talks to the family. And so I truly encourage you guys to let your kids go. It's a wonderful experience.
Hi, my name is Shimona McDonald, and I attend Hollywood Christian School, and I actually went on the trip your children are going on this year, so I'm sure you want to pay attention to this one. Well, in my perspective, People to People is like going inside a history book, because you see all these special landmarks to learn about the history and everything like that. And, you know, kids sometimes like don't pay attention reading about this stuff, but when you get to interact and stuff, that's when kids really get to memory and like learn about this stuff. Like in history class, I'm just like, oh my goodness, I went there when I traveled with People to People, and just an amazing experience overall. And it gives your kids a sense of confidence and responsibility, because I went to People when I was 10 years old, and right now I'm 11, so it gave me the confidence to do many things I would have done before, because I actually got to skip a grade. And it was like scary at first, but then I realized that if I was able to just conquer all the stuff that I did in Canada, it was easy for me to do stuff that I did in real life. And I just feel like above my age, you can think of that as a good way or a bad way. It's both ways. And it's just an amazing experience overall. And parents, you think, oh, I don't want to let go of my child, but like it's like you're being there with them, because you get so many updates from the leaders that's with them, and you get so many places. My mom would send me and my brother messages about like, how's your trip going and stuff, and she would know the places we were going before we even went there. So I'm just like, thanks for the spoiler alert, Mom. And so I think as parents, the best thing you can do for your child is letting them go.
Hi, my name is Barrington. I attend Hollywood Christian School, and I also went on the trip with my sister, and it was an amazing trip. You would definitely want to let your kids go. I mean, when we were at the airport, I was just like, this is it. And my mom's just like, Barrington, don't forget to talk to me. I'm just like, okay, Mom. But overall, it was a great experience. Your kids will learn so much, and like when they go to the glaciers, definitely I know they'll have a good time, because the water was just fresh, and we, you know, had a glacier fight because we were throwing ice, but it was very excellent. I was glad I had the opportunity to go, and I'm hoping that you guys would go too, and that you guys just enjoy it. And to the parents, I hope you guys know that this is a great decision for your kids. When they come home, you'll start seeing them doing things that they haven't done before, and they'll have more confidence, and you'll just be like, wow, I don't know what happened, but you guys are acting way much better than when I sent you. So definitely this is going to be a great trip for your kids.
Hi, I'm the parent of Barrington and Shamara McDonald. I'm also known as Mother Hubbard. And when I was sitting where you guys was, I was like, are they crazy? They think I'm gonna send my children with people I don't know. But the greatest thing, we had Joan, and she really, really made me feel comfortable. When I was about to change my mind, she said to me, you don't trust me? And I realized that once you start getting, you know, really close with them, it's almost like they're your family. This is my nanny I'm sending my kids with, not a stranger, because they have meetings before. And like my kids said, I always contacted them. There was a storm when they were going, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's a storm. I called the headquarters, and they assured me everything was okay. But being the Mother Hubbard, I called every place that they were supposed to go. And the good thing about it is they were excited about them coming. They was like, no, they're en route, and no, this is, we excited to get people to come. We heard about this great group and all that. So not only were they excited to go there, the people were excited waiting for them to come. And they do a lot of things like ironing their clothes now, things I used to be like, come watch this, do this. Oh, Mom, Nanny, like, Mommy, I could do it. I could take care of myself. So you will get a different child coming back, more responsible. And I'm really glad about that. Also, I was thinking about how in life you have to make sacrifices. You look at the prices and you go, oh my goodness. But we sacrifice to buy cars, we sacrifice to buy houses. But when you sacrifice for your kids, you will get it back. And I'm looking forward to when it's time for them to go to college, that I know they'll get their first pick. So think about it. It is a sacrifice, but we all make them. And a lot of regrets I have in life. One regret I do not have is sending them to the People to People trip.
Hi, my name is Joshua Ceballos. I attend Westland Hialeah Senior High School, and I went on 2 people-to-people trips. I went on the Australian Adventure in 2011, and I went on the European Heritage Tour with Megan and Joan and Chloe over there this past summer. Probably one of my favorite experiences was when we went to the Louvre Museum in Paris, and unfortunately one of the people on our trip, one of the other delegates, had been injured, and she had to be in a wheelchair. But Megan and Joan and all the other leaders, they were so on top of it that they made sure that she had a wheelchair and she had an access to everything that we were doing, and she did not feel left out. And those of us who were with her, pushing her wheelchair and taking care of her, actually got to go through back entrances in the Louvre Museum. And we got to go right in front of the Mona Lisa, where there was a huge crowd of people as big as this room, maybe bigger. We were right in front of the Mona Lisa, and we all took selfies with it, which was definitely very cool. Everything about the people experience is just something. It's like the movies you see on TV, you're in the movie. I would look out over the mountains in Austria, and I thought I was in a movie. I could barely believe I was there. As for the fundraising, it seems like a lot, but you'd be surprised how many people actually care about you in your life and your community, and they want to give you the best that they can give you when they know that your future is in this program. This program's definitely going to contribute to who you're going to be and what you're going to do in the future. I feel like I'm more directed towards what I'm going to work as because of my people-to-people trip. So it seems like a lot, but really, when you get there, after the whole thing's over, it was a breeze. You're going to not believe how fast you made that money. And kids, please help your mom with the fundraising, because moms and your parents definitely do a lot to help you out. My mom did a lot of baking for me and a lot of work for me, and I really appreciate that. But definitely help her out, and you can do it, and it's going to be the best experience of your life, for sure.
My name is Liz Gates, and I'm, of course, Joshua's mom. There's so many things I would want to say to you, so I kind of thought of a few things really quick. Part of it is the fact that, yes, just like Mother Hubbard over here, he'd never left my side. I mean, this child had never gone anywhere without me before. So we show up and we see this wonderful adventure, and it's going to Australia the first time that he went. And I was thinking, I'm not sending him anywhere without me. But it was just, as we were sitting there and we're listening, and it was more and more exciting, I thought, well, you know, maybe we'll try this. Again, the financial part seems like, geez, how am I going to do this? But you can, because obviously he did it. I didn't think we could. And it starts out to feel like it's a lot, but if you do it little by little, you said something once about if you put away a certain amount of money starting right off now, you know, it's a small amount, you'll have it by the end. But even if it wasn't that way, even if you do, we figured out fundraising. Our church helped. We have a little local newspaper. They wrote an article about him. That got things going too. And the baking, Valentine's, great time to sell cookies and make the money for them, and Christmas and whatever you do, we did that. And so many other ideas that we had. On top of that also, People to People is a family to us, particularly. We've had other experiences. We've been able to go to Spokane, actually. Megan, there's someone else here, Matt. They became family to us. We feel as if they are family. The Facebook thing. The first time he went, I don't know if you all had it or if I didn't know about it. I did communicate as much as I could. There's a phone that's offered. I used that. But what a big difference it made this time around to be able to every day see. I mean, I would wake up and go, how did she send me 3 different posts? And there's already pictures of the kids doing stuff or knowing what they were going to do for the rest of the day. Super, it's incredible to be able to keep up that way. Also afterwards, we've kept in touch. We've been able to see what's going on. The homestay for Joshua, he's still extremely good friends with the family, and I've even communicated with the mom via Facebook, and it's incredible. And it's amazing the changes that your child will make. It is worth it. It is worth it, like Mother Hubbard said over here. They're a different child. It is worth it. If you could do something for yourself, why would you not do this for your child's future? They change. He's a different child from the first trip, made a big difference. The second trip, even more. More responsible. Their mind is more on the goal of what they're going to come up with in the future, who they want to be, and how they're going to get there. Because now they know how to do things on their own. They've seen the world. He's seen more of the world than I have already, for sure. And they're prepared to be independent people out there. So it is an incredible investment in your child's life, and you need to do it, but you'll see.
I'd like to acknowledge our students for their accomplishments and provide them with their People-to-People graduation pin at this time. Let's give them a warm round of applause. And on behalf of People-to-People, I would like to thank our parents for trusting our organization to provide your children with a phenomenal experience. Thank you so much. Let's give our parents a warm round of applause as well. As they make their way back to their seats, these families will be an excellent resource for you after our meeting. If you have additional questions, I'm sure that they'll be happy to speak with you. One of our alumni just mentioned about, before I traveled over to Germany, in my mind I was thinking, they're so mean. Many times we hear the French are so rude. I can tell you overseas, the Americans are fat and lazy. But President Eisenhower, when he was traveling these famous celebrities around the world, he began to see that traveling them to represent the United States was wonderful, but it wasn't going to accomplish his mission to create peace around the world. Instead, he realized that it was our young people, people who didn't already have a crystallized view of the world and misconceptions and the wrong stereotypes. So in 1962, we began to travel students as People-to-People student ambassadors. We've heard of what our students have done. Let's take a look and see what you're going to be doing. Let Sharmata and Barrington take you to Canada. While we are there, we're going to be learning about a tradition. We're going to be going to the Empress Hotel and learning about the official tea ceremony. And guys, since you like animals, how many of you like dinosaurs? We are going to be going to the Tyrrell Dinosaur Museum. This is the largest dinosaur museum in the world. Be watching for that, and then we'll talk about how you get from Florida to Canada.
Hi, I'm Shamata. And I'm her brother Barrington, and we're both student ambassador alumni from Florida. We're here to tell you about an amazing 2-week adventure that could change your life.
We know this for a fact because we went on this program together.
Welcome to your Wonders of the Canadian West program. Your exploration of the Canadian West starts in, of course, its westernmost province, British Columbia. In Vancouver, BC, you'll explore one of the biggest parks in the world. Stanley Park is actually 10% bigger than Central Park in New York City, and filled with talented artists, colorful gardens, and cool sculptures.
You'll walk along the waterfront, see the Lions Gate Bridge from Prospect Point, and learn about the totem poles beautifully carved by the coastal First Nations tribes. It's called a park, but it is also a rainforest because, let me tell you, it rains a lot here.
Head from scenic Vancouver to beautiful Victoria, which is just a ferry ride away on Vancouver Island. This city was named after Queen Victoria of Great Britain, and it still reflects Canada's history as a colony. One of Victoria's classic buildings holds its parliament. In the US, we call it Congress. You'll not only get to walk through the building and learn how Canada's government and our own are similar, but you will also have a chance to meet with a former member of the Canadian Parliament.
After a crash course in Canadian politics, you'll go back to Canada's British roots and take a spot of tea at the Empress Hotel. You're going to have to spruce up a bit to get ready for your traditional Elizabethan tea, held in a beautiful private room. Student ambassadors will choose from a unique menu and discover a ton of history behind this famous tea service. Next on your list of Canadian wonders, killer whales. You'll join an experienced whale watching team and sail the Straits of Georgia to search for pods or family groups of orcas. While you're on the boat, you'll learn about the habitat and behavior of these enormous mammals while watching them in their natural environment. Next, marine biologists in Sydney will explain to you about the dynamic ecosystem of the Salish Sea, from seafloor to seashore. Try saying that 5 times fast. Anyway, this is a really cool education center that has thousands of different species sea life in 17 giant aquariums.
You'll leave Victoria for the seaside town of Nanaimo, where a challenge awaits you at Wild Play. It definitely lives up to its name. It's a climbing course way up high in a dense Douglas fir forest.
You'll test your coordination and balance as you cross suspended bridges, scramble nets, and swinging logs. My fellow ambassadors and I, even my brother, were like a team, cheering each other on. I think that's what gave us all the courage to try something new and exciting.
Wake up early and take the ferry back to the mainland.
Today will be your first day at Camp Ascula. This was another memorable moment for me because we got to camp in real-life teepees and learn how to put them up ourselves. Being invited to sleep in pit houses and teepees is actually a great honor. Not many people who aren't student ambassadors get to do this.
While here, you'll also be introduced to the Earth Steward Project and become an environmental ambassador. With some hands-on experiences, you'll learn about simple ways you can reduce your carbon footprint.
The Earth Steward Project was designed just for student ambassadors and shows how you can help to preserve the environment and be a responsible traveler abroad and at home. We had a campfire one night and got to hear stories about the Similkameen culture. Then we got a chance to meet people from the Similkameen tribe. They shared with us their customs and traditional beliefs. Their ancestors made Canada their home about 30,000 years ago.
Following that, you'll visit the Inkamik Desert Cultural Center in Osoyoos to learn about the history of the Okanagan people, who have lived here for hundreds of years, fishing, foraging local plants, and trading with other tribes for delicious and healthy buffalo meat. After breakfast, bid your new friends goodbye at the camp and head towards the lakeside town of Kelowna. Along the way, you will stop for some beach time and a swim at Okanagan Lake.
If you've ever dreamed of uncovering ancient treasures,
like Indiana Jones, whoosh.
Yeah, sort of like that. In Kelowna, you'll get to meet with a renowned archaeologist. You'll visit the University of British Columbia at Okanagan for an archaeology talk and the chance to see and handle ancient stone tools, some that have been around for up to 600,000 years.
Meeting an archaeologist isn't something you could do on just any Canadian vacation. You'll also get a chance to make your own obsidian arrowhead that you can take home. Just be glad you won't have to take down a buffalo with it. My arrowhead felt sharp, but not that sharp. You'll also howl with the gray wolves at the Northern Lights Wildlife Center in Golden. Learn about their habitat in this unique region. And then, your next stop, beautiful Banff. Once you arrive in Banff, take the gondola to the top of Sulphur Mountain. If the views on the way up aren't enough, I'm pretty sure the landscape you see from the top will make your jaw drop. Enjoy dinner tonight at the Summit Restaurant in the company of your friends, leaders, and the Rocky Mountains. Then at the Columbia Icefields, you'll pile into a specialized vehicle for a ride across the Athabasca Glacier.
But here's the best part. About halfway up the glacier, you can get out and slip and slide around on the snow and ice. Make sure to bring an empty water bottle so you can taste some of the purest water on the planet.
You'll head back to Banff to meet a Mountie and discover the history and the culture of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The Mounties are legendary for being a police force long before there were even roads and bridges across the Canadian West.
Today, Canadian Mounties are the country's national police. Sometimes they even serve in other countries as peacekeepers. Wrap up this exciting day in a hot spring at the base of Sulphur Mountain while you swim and soak in the pool. If you've never been to a hot spring, it's cool. Well, not cool. It's like nature's hot tub, with water that's heated by the Earth's crust.
Next, your delegation will head east, following the towering shadow of the Rocky Mountains. Check into your miner's cabin at the Pope Lease Pines. These cozy dwellings are actually the original, refurbished homes of the coal miners who worked here in the 1920s coal boom.
Now get ready to step back millions of years and explore Canada's version of Jurassic Park. The Royal Tyrrell Museum of Paleontology is a huge building made just to study dinosaurs. It's the largest dinosaur museum in the world. Not only will you be amazed at these life-size displays, you'll also get to watch the other student ambassadors give their best T-Rex impression. Then it's off to Calgary, home of Canada's Olympic Park. Through their awesome games and activities, you will learn what it takes to be a true Olympic champion.
Head to the top of the Calgary Tower, the second tallest building in all of Canada, stretching 626 feet. What most impressed me was how fast the elevator got us to the top of the tower. I felt like my feet were pressed to the floor as we shot up. By then, our time in Calgary was done. I could hardly believe the journey had gone so fast.
The wonders of the Canadian West left us both with a ton of memories. I can close my eyes and still smell the water as I stood on the deck of the ship looking out for whales, hear the drumming of the First Nations people, and taste the flavor of that buffalo. What's even better, I can relive those memories with other ambassadors because I came home with a great new group of friends.
My sister and I actually have new perspectives now, of the world, of other people, even of each other because of this program. We've been inside other cultures, we've learned that we were more capable than we believed, and we have new friends thousands of miles away. Trust us, you will think about your student ambassador journey and everything you experienced in Western Canada for years to come. So get ready for the world.
And students, that is your program to the beautiful Western Canada. I think we've thought of everything. Do you see the difference between a tourist trip and a people-to-people student ambassador program? Our students are truly going to become immersed into a different culture, a different way of life. We're going to broaden their perspectives and provide them with some very unique learning opportunities. How do we get from Miami to Canada? If our teacher leaders would kindly pass out a boarding pass to each family, and I want to make sure that you can take some notes. We're going to cover a lot of very important details pretty quickly. If you do not have something to write with, please raise your hand, leave your hand up, and we will provide you with a pen. When you receive your boarding pass, please turn to page 1. Page 1 is the most important page in the entire book. Page 1. On page 1, you will see that this does outline for you the simple steps that your family will want to proceed with to get involved in this local Miami delegation. So starting at the top of the page, you will see that the very first step is to simply apply to the program. Until you submit your application, basically nothing will happen for your family. So again, that's your very first step. You can submit your application online, or if you would like to speak with a live person, simply give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. So either way, you can submit your application to the program. You will notice there needs to be a small deposit with the application to process it. This is not an additional fee. Instead, parents, think of this as your first tuition payment. Then we'll make monthly payments over the next 9 months, and your last payment will not be due until the 1st of May. Okay? So I really encourage you to take advantage of the fact that we've got additional time. I will have some of these meetings not until the month of March. And so those families will basically have 60 days to try to put all this together. Looking at step number 2, your letters of recommendation. 2 of these letters need to come from your teachers. Here's a great tip for you. I would encourage that these 2 teachers are those who actually like you. And the 3rd letter of recommendation needs to be filled out by an adult in the community that knows you well. All of those forms are in your application booklet. Let's go ahead now and talk about number 3. That, of course, is coming to your interview. So again, step 1, applying to the program. Step number 2, getting your letters of recommendation. And then step 3 is coming to your interview. And when are your interview dates? September 21st and September 23rd and 24th. Okay, excellent. So for those of you that would like to reserve your interview time before you leave, as a simple courtesy to you, we know that you're very busy, but that will allow you to plan ahead a bit. So if you know that you are going to apply to the program, we'll allow you to reserve your interview date and time before you leave. Our families that are with us via the internet, once you submit your application, our leadership team will reach out to you and schedule either a phone interview for those of you that might live out of the area, or schedule an interview for you that will be taking place here in the local Miami area if you happen to reside in Miami. Let's go ahead now and turn to page 6, please. Page 6. As you will see, this does list all of the programs that we are offering for this coming summer. We are offering a local Miami middle school delegation and a local high school delegation. If you'd like more information, if you have an older sibling that might want to travel in our program, please see me after the meeting. But for the respective time, I want to focus on this local grade school delegation traveling to Canada. Please look underneath the North America programs and find the name of your itinerary, Wonders of the Canadian West. Please go ahead and circle the name of that program. That is critical information. We need to make sure that you're in the right group. I don't want you waking up on a barge in Hong Kong someplace next summer. Okay, Wonders of the Canadian West. As you will see, this program is traveling for 12 days through Vancouver, up through the Canadian Rockies, and then finally over to Calgary. And the tuition is to the far right of $44.99. I'll talk more about that tuition in just a moment, but again, please indicate this is your program. Our departure date, when is that big day going to be? We will be departing in mid-June after school session is finalized. We're working on that departure date right now so that you will have that well in advance, so that you can plan accordingly, but do know that it will be in mid-June after school session is finalized. Looking at the bottom of the page in the lower left-hand corner, departure airport. This will also be the airport that we're coming back to. Great news. Go ahead and write in Miami. Okay, we're going to keep it local and easy for you. Mom and Dad, we just ask that when we do arrive back in Miami after the program is finalized, please come pick up your kids. Moving across the page, bottom center of this page, the international airline surcharge. This is to cover for airline surcharges, airline taxes. Obviously, this amount does vary greatly depending on your destination. More good news for you. Write in 0. I've built it into your tuition. Dad likes that. He's smiling. Okay, let's go ahead and looking at the lower right-hand corner of this page. The travel protection plan. This is entirely optional. This is not required when you apply to the program. It's your typical traveler insurance. You're going to learn much more about this over the next few months. Again, it's entirely optional. I'm not going to spend too much time on that today because it is not required with your application. Let's go ahead now and look at page 7. This does list for you so you can see at a quick glance what is included in the program tuition. I can tell you that our alumni families continue to thank our organization year after year for making our tuition all comprehensive, all inclusive. Everything is included in the tuition. Parents, the nice thing about this is that you're not getting a phone call on the 6th day of the program from Canada saying, I am having the amazing time in Canada, so much that I bought every souvenir that I set my eyes on. You need to overnight me more money so that, for example, I can get into the dinosaur museum. If you will look here, all of the pre-travel preparation is included. All of our travel, that's all of our airfare, our private motor coach, all the transportation through all our activities, through the different parts of Canada and all the way home. All of our accommodations, we'll be staying in very nice hotels along the way. Does everybody see where it says meals? Students, go ahead and write in the number 3. 3 full meals a day are included. Again, parents, this gives you the peace of mind to know that there's no surprises. Everything is taken care of prior to departure. All of our students are automatically covered with medical insurance. Basically what I'm trying to say is if your student wanted to travel for 2 weeks all the way to Canada without a dime in their pocket, they literally can, unless they want to buy souvenirs. Okay? So that makes sense so that you can plan ahead accordingly. On the day of departure, you got that peace of mind. Let's go ahead now and turn to the very back inside cover page. The very back inside cover page. Does everybody see where it says make it happen? Underneath that, you will see the web address in bold, p2ppayyourway.com. Students, please draw a circle around that web address. Part of becoming a student ambassador is stepping up, having confidence in yourself to help earn part of your tuition for the program. This program is not just a 2-week program to Canada, but it's actually a 9-month program from very beginning, allowing our students to fundraise some of their tuition, and then finally traveling to Canada and returning home safely. This web address and this website is how over half of our students in the state of Florida were able to travel last year. We've reached out to many of these students and asked them to share with us exactly what they did to help mom and dad in earning some of their tuition. I find that students, usually given this amount of time, are able to raise about half. Okay? So for those of you that are interested in having your student raise some of their tuition, I highly recommend it. This is a fantastic resource. I will be available for any questions you might have. Again, our teacher leaders will help you reserve your interview date and time if you would like to do that before you leave as a courtesy. I do want to let you know that we only have so many spots available because we are not going to be taking city transportation everywhere throughout Canada. It's not even reliable. Instead, we have our own very private, safe, secure motor coach. These only hold so many people. 40 students, 4 teacher leaders, so the supervision ratio is 1 to 10. The professional in-country expert that will meet us as soon as we land, that is going to be with us 24/7 handling all the logistics, and the motor coach driver. And that's it. I have already reserved 20 spots for South Miami, 20 spots for North Miami, and I'll be having that meeting next weekend. So if you know that you want to travel with this local delegation, meaning that all of your orientation meetings over the next several months are here locally, and that your student is traveling with the teacher leaders that you met here today, you'll want to get your application in within the next 72 hours. To make it fair for everybody, because spots are limited, and as I mentioned, we have approximately 65 families who are on the internet with us right now learning about this program. To make it fair for everybody, we simply timestamp your applications in the order they are received, so that it's the first 20 families who submit their application and proceed through a successful interview who will secure one of those 20 spots. If you are not in the first 20, keep in mind you are welcome to apply for this program anytime throughout the year prior to departure. But if you are not part of that first 20, I can still travel you to Canada, but it will definitely mean that you're traveling with a different city, maybe an entirely different state. So if I had a spot available in Atlanta, I could have you travel with that delegation. But Dad, that means that unless you're going to fly to Atlanta once a month with your child, then your child will be traveling with teachers that you've never met prior to departure. I find at this age, everybody wants to stay local. It makes sense. So again, your very first step is your application, then your letters of recommendation, then your interview. I want to thank all of you for your time today. Have a wonderful afternoon. Let's give one last round of applause to our alumni students for their accomplishments. God bless. Thank you very much.